Hello, I am Brandon, the humble host of Actual Play Broadcast. This will serve as an introduction to our broadcast for the time being. As we record and publish more, it shall change. We are still getting things set up, so apologies for any errors, skips, or silence that may occur. Everything will be smoothed out in due time. Please enjoy our broadcasts of various RPGs, and remember to tune in for more every week, as continuations or new adventures will be posted at such times. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Fuck
you.
So we have Beep Boop, we have Am I Pregnant, and for once, Damiani is silent.
What are you talking? Dude, I've been
You're
normal the last few sessions of having him.
Well, no, usually like between like once I hit play or record or whatever is usually when you're like time for or shit fuck, things like that.
Well, goddamn you to hell.
Stop being predictable.
You know what? I'm going to do it harder now, just to spite you.
That's fine.
14.
Welcome everybody.
That joke. Hey, bully for you.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening to another episode of APB Actual Play Broadcast. Today we are playing Mothership, GM'd and hosted by Zemian.
Yes, this has been in the pipeline for a hot minute. I was up late last night doing some prep that desperately needed to be done. The players will find out why soon enough. Because goddamn, I am a procrastinator.
Dude, I feel that.
It was also kind of like a last minute decision. I was like, I don't really think I need to. And then yesterday I was like, I probably should. And then I did. It took longer than I thought it would.
Oh no.
Part of it was because of technical difficulties.
Gotcha.
I managed to figure it out in a very roundabout way. That's a story for another time. So, Mothership, for those who do not know, this is our first time playing Mothership. We might get things wrong. Cry about it. Privately. I don't want to know. That said, we do intend to review it after we're done playing it, so that will come out at some point.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Having just put the characters together, I have feelings about it so far.
Uh-huh.
Also, I have our ship sheet open.
Yeah, it probably won't be super relevant, but I wanted to have it just in case.
Yeah.
That said, the ship, it's not going to look exactly like the ship that's in the book. The general layout is kind of the same-ish, but we're doing ships that can actually go between space and planets, effectively.
Mm.
In and out of atmosphere. They kind of cleave a little bit closer to realism a little bit. Which I'm like, meh. I like my space boats to go in between. Unless they're really big. That said, we have some general trigger warnings for this. This is a horror game. There's going to be spooky, gross stuff. And by spooky, gross stuff, gonna give just a kind of blanket for like potential animal violence. Just general violence, graphic depictions of violence, gore, body horror. Potential suicide. And I guess I will say to a degree, mind control fuckery. What that means, you'll find out in time if you're going to stick around. But this is a horror game. spooky shit's going to happen. If any of this sounds really icky to you or deeply uncomfortable, don't listen to it. Or if something you weren't entirely expecting comes up, it's okay to take a break.
Yeah.
Or skip it or whatever.
We won't tell your mom.
But as usual, I'm not giving this warning at the beginning of every episode because we do story-focused shit. So you should start watching on this episode, not in the middle of whatever the hell we're doing. Especially this. This is going to be short. This is going to be like 5, maybe 6 sessions. It's not going to be terribly long. Yeah, so Mothership. We are in space. The system is fairly rules light. Hopefully we're just going to have fun with it. So all that said, does anybody have any burning questions for me before we begin? Anything like that?
In the event of potential loss of character, should we start prepping backup characters, or?
I did make a recommendation for y'all to maybe have a backup sheet because it's highly unlikely you're going to need more than one. It is kind of projected for characters to survive at least around 3 to 4 sessions.
Okay.
Generally. If you follow like as per the book's recommendations of how things play out. But I'll tell you this right now. I think the chances of any of you dying this session is a terribly low. Like I will be somewhere between impressed and disappointed if you die in this session.
I look forward to meeting that.
Stop it. Get some help.
Get some help.
But yeah, no. In between the sessions, I would recommend making a backup. Just so you have somebody available. You probably do not need several. I don't think we're going to get into that kind of situation. So, that said, any final questions? Or was that it?
What's the answer to life?
Sex. What you do with that information is up to you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, with that, I have nothing.
I'm glad that cleared that up for you. Okay. So, we open up. It is... Actually, I don't even know what the official, like... Oh, no, wait, or do I? Whoop. I do not. I don't know what the exact year is. It's in the future. This is a future in which space flight is normal. It is quite normal for people such as yourselves to take jobs that are entirely within the sphere of operating in space. Be that space trucking, working, security escorts, working, military, whatever it may be. Working in space is pretty common. Granted, the majority, technically speaking, don't, but it's not unusual to be or know somebody who does work within the field. And it is a field that typically leads you to long periods of time out at sea, some may put it. Potentially being years or more away from wherever you came from. It is up to you all whether you're from some far-flung colony or Earth or maybe even a space station. That is up to you. However, what is not up for you is that you have been signed on via contract with one of the megacorporations, Coburn Dynamics, who have a long history of working within originally spacecraft, but have long since branched out into a variety of fields some of which may involve, limited terraforming, xenoarchaeology, as well as computer systems and a whole bunch of other stuff. They, curiously enough, do not make their own synthetics, which will become apparent why that's relevant very soon. However, you are a contract for a vessel responsible for shipping goods. You typically will leave one port with some goods, taking it to another port, picking up goods there, and going to yet another. It is, in the grand scheme of things, not a lot of work for you guys. The majority of your time on the clock is actually spent asleep. In this sleep, you are in what is referred to as hydrostasis. You are put in these pods filled with a special type of liquid that keeps you nourished yet suspended in a sort of suspended animation. And time just passes, and you eventually wake up, dock the ship after making contact with wherever you're going, load up the supplies, and then on your way again and do some system checks and such, and then it's back to sleep. It's very, very simple work. Rarely are you ever woken up in the middle of a voyage. The only times of consciousness is when it's time to do your job, and then it's back to sleep. Now, this time's a little different, because this time you are woken up. There is a sort of cold awareness that comes to you as you can feel fluid draining around each of you. It's not shockingly cold. It's just this vague chillness and a heavy wave of grogginess. It's really damp but sticky feeling coating the insides of your mouth and your nose. Your eyes almost feel like crusted over, and it takes some effort to finally open them. And when you do, you're met with the very soft, dimmed lighting of the hydrostasis room, lined with all of these different pods. 13 in totality, 12 of which have you and your fellow crewmates, and then one spare. You see only 3 of the pods have lit up with the waking notification lights. And you all begin to rouse. It's only until the pod is completely drained that it opens and you are allowed to exit onto the grated floors where excess fluid that is dripping off of you can drain away. And the air is cold. It's not until all of you are out that you can actually hear the thrum of heating kicking on as warm air begins to cycle throughout the ship. You are naked, save for what underwear that is waterproof you've chosen to wear, be it essentially the equivalent of swim trunks or Speedo or whatever. But there is a rack of towels and such, and whatever things you like to have handy for whenever you first wake up.
Is that process any different for an android?
It's largely the same. You're not as affected by like the tastes and such. The because you technically do not age. Like you're entirely artificial. You don't go through the same aging process. What fluids you are exposed to are generally things that are essentially filled with stuff that helps maintain your body effectively. So instead of like nutrient stuff, it might be something infused with like nanites or something similar that are doing what very minor repairs and such you would need to prevent degradation. So you don't really go through any of the disorientation anybody else would be going through. It's, I'm awake now, waiting patiently for pod opening, dry myself off. And that's pretty much it. These guys, however, are like, bro, you've been asleep for like a year. You're using your eyes for the first time in a year. You are, breathing air for the first time in a year, which is deeply uncomfortable to make that switch from liquid to oxygen. And then there's the god-awful taste and just, in general, just grogginess of being awake for the first time in a while. Things that are not moving prefer to stay not moving. So now you are kind of stretching and getting everything working again.
I can never get used
Just
to this.
for out of character. Just for being clear, does my cat go into stasis with me, or is there something set up that it just kind of wanders around? Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming your cat is a living cat, so
Yeah.
it would need to go into stasis, which
No, that's what I was given.
it generally does not like it. So it's kind of grumpy, but it is a ball of wet fur. Important question: is the cat orange?
No.
Okay, it's not terminal then. All right. Either way, it's very grumpy about being wet and not very happy about this process either.
Yeah. For the listeners, it is a tabico, which is a mix of a tabby and a calico.
Kind of makes this dry heaving noise, which you can really sympathize with because you can feel the film from the fluid that has formed along the inside, along the roof of your mouth and the back of your throat.
Yeah, me too, Evie.
When you breathe or cough and stuff, you can feel it kind of shaking loose and breaking apart, kind of slowly dissolving.
There's just a lot of hacking, which I will not try to replicate over comm.
Yeah.
Just imagine it.
Oscar will grab everyone towels and proceed to bring them over, not having to adjust at all, really.
Yep.
Oscar is a android. He has dark black hair, cold, stoic face, and just overall wears a smile, but it's not founded in anything. Just knows that most people prefer someone to smile at them than to look at them blankly. So
it's the service industry smile.
Oh God, that's the worst thing.
Service industry smile.
Yeah,
No.
I hate it already.
Here we go, my companions.
takes a few minutes or two more living individuals. Occasionally, you do have to. Most of it comes up when you're kind of before you're fully awake, but occasionally there is some excess fluid that has to be kind of coughed up as your lungs are filling with more and more air. Not a great experience waking up from this shit.
You want to go next, Damiani, to introduce?
Yeah, okay. I am playing Jane Tucker. And he is actually pretty average, just dirty blonde hair, about somewhere between 5'11", 6 foot, moderately a broad build. He has a little bit of a gut, but not enough. It seems like he wouldn't be able to do physical labor easily. And he is just takes the towel, wipes it off, looks at the android. There's just a brief moment of disdain. Goddamn fucking. Can't believe you ain't got to deal with this. Smiling like that.
Oscar will walk over with the towel to our other compatriot.
The other compatriot is about a 5'3" female with tan skin, fairly long black hair, very almond-shaped eyes. She is still coughing up a lot of the excess fluids. She looks to be very fit, takes care of her, and in form with a couple scars on her arm and leg. There's also a tattoo on her right shoulder that has a skull and knife piercing it, with a couple of numbers and letters, which indicates previous time in service. Oh, thanks, Oscar. Oh, really hate this shit still.
I shall start a pot of coffee, as I understand most of you organics like to start your day with such.
Oh,
Might shake
bless
the
you, Oscar.
grogginess at least. Yeah.
Oscar will go to whatever counts as our mess hall and begin brewing a pot of coffee.
Yeah. You are making your way through the ship, lights kind of flickering on as you move through. And you enter into, essentially living quarters. There's bunks and stuff kind of attached to this section, as well as like the general sort of kitchen or whatever. And there's like essentially sci-fi coffee cubes. It's essentially just add water.
And some
Not quite
coffee.
a soy calf, but it's if your thing is terrible tasting coffee, here you go.
We are truckers, so
Yes, your
Does well
space
enough.
truckers whose entire business is funded by the company. This is a company ship. You are company contractors. So you get
Great
what they
asset.
give you.
Great assets.
Yes.
Great assets. Great assets.
And generally, when it comes to supplies, you have to buy through the company unless you are going to pay out of your own pocket. So you're able to whip up those coffee cups. The two of you are able to make your way to the living quarters, where like you're lockers and bunks and stuff are, so you can like get dressed and such, and you've pretty soon got warm cups of coffee in hand.
So I guess we're on the wake shift for this part of the journey.
I
Well,
guess
you
we're
know that you guys waking up in the middle of a journey is uncommon. That must mean Sage has woken you up for a reason. Sage being the onboard computer.
Mhm.
Uh-oh.
Guess something approved us for overtime.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh.
If we ain't exploding though, it means we got 5 minutes at least. Let's get something, drink, get something, get
Yeah. The
Clean.
initial sips of coffee taste really funny. It's that delightful aftertaste and some of the film still on the roof of your mouth, not quite broken away yet, but it
Oh,
washes
boy.
down with the first few sips of coffee. And after a few moments, the coffee starts tasting like coffee.
For good or bad.
Yeah,
For good or bad.
delightful.
At least it doesn't taste burnt.
Well, that would be the worst.
Oh, I forgot to introduce my character's name.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
what is your name?
Everyone would know that this is Via.
This is who? I didn't hear that clearly.
Via.
Via?
Gia.
Oh, Gia.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Chia.
I will shoot Oscar with this shotgun.
And he will eat it.
The company will be very displeased if you do that.
They will. Oscar is free overtime.
He is a licensed synthetic employee. That is damaging company property if you were to do that. Unfortunately, they would have to dock your pay.
I expect that we shall hear what needs to be done here shortly. We
Yeah.
should take this time to make sure all of our possessions are still in good shape.
You would know there is actually they're kind of similar to Alien. There's kind of like the room dedicated to interfacing with the intelligence on board.
Mhm.
It doesn't really have the means to like take over the speaker system and talk to you all. It is very much it's a limited intelligence. It's not a true AI. Like it is smart, but it's not necessarily self-aware.
Mhm.
And it does not have a voice. It has not been anthropomorphized in any way. It is a computer terminal you interact with it through.
Okay.
It's
But
basically
you are,
GPU.
like Damiani implied, the ship's not currently exploding. A few minutes is fine. You're not on a rush necessarily.
Hey man, Jane knows what's up.
Everything in space happens slowly. Like, if they woke you up because there's danger coming, it's like danger is a few hours away and we have to do something about it.
Mhm. Alright.
But yeah, all of your possessions are as you left them, albeit for a very thin layer of dust, because as you know, the how much the air gets cycled gets severely reduced while you are in hydrostasis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there's not as many particulates moving around, and it is just and aside from any noise you guys are making, it's just very quiet.
Makes sense.
Via checks her armor and weapons.
Yeah, Oscar will grab all of his stuff, as there's no reason for him to not have it. Not like he has to worry about being comfortable.
Fair.
But then after that, head to the computer room.
Cool.
Since the synth is heading to the computer room, I'm gonna spend time just getting my tools and whatnot together. If I got approved for overtime, there might be something broken. And also, Evie needs cleaning. I imagine that hydrostasis shit doesn't come out of fur as easily.
Yeah.
Question becomes: is the cat willing to lick that stuff off of them? Like, is it even willing to try to clean themselves, or is it that rough? Is this like, nah, I'd rather not?
Yeah, that's a good question, GM.
Hang on. I'm having a computer problem.
Uh-oh.
I'm not sure what the cause is.
So yeah, I'm just getting my tools together.
Yep.
Because I'm probably gonna need to get ready to fix whatever the fuck broke.
Okay.
I don't need my I'm just gonna grab my armor, my lockpick set, and a flashlight.
Cool.
And then computer room.
Yeah, I figure Oscar will let us know what the orders are when he gets back.
Okay. So you get to the computer room. All right, I didn't switch over to better Discord, so my shit's all fucked up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, you head into kind of Sage's core, and you know there's a chair and desk with a terminal. It's all very alien. You sit down and you can see that there has been a series of strings of information that have popped up. You can see the timestamp for waking from sleep mode, retrieving data, decrypting data. It's apparently received an SOS and has relayed it back to the company, and then has received company orders while you all were asleep. It's already began the course correction to a planet. And you can see the command where it reset the hydrostasis suspension timer. You get a more full explanation that the mission parameters have been updated. You have been retasked from your delivery to traveling to this planet referred to as Nix 8 in the Thanatos system. You have to arrive and investigate the research station identified as 38-A. You are to locate and extract essential employees and retrieve essential data. The essential employees that you were told you have to extract involves a Dr. Tyler Hall, along with where's her fucking name? A Dr. Kagome Yoshida, as well as retrieve all of the data located on the databanks within the Xenoarchaeology Research Lab located there. It notes to refer to Sage for further guidance. And yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Alrighty. Quick question. How
Yes.
I assume that we humanity has not run into other intelligent life.
No. There have been alien life forms encountered and such, but as far as like genuine sapience is concerned, no. It is as one franchise would put it, dead space.
Oh no. That's Brandon doesn't like hearing that. Oscar will send a acknowledgement of mission parameters. And just to double check them, retask to Nix 8 in the Thanatos system. New mission, arrive at 35-A research station to extract essential employees, Dr. Tyler Hall and Dr. Kagome Yoshida, and any data related to the Xenoarchaeology Research Lab. Refer to Sage for further guidance.
It's a 38-A.
38-A.
Yep. But yes, that's the mission protocols.
All right.
Or requirements.
Excellent.
Thank you, Sage. I will relay this to the crew. Is there an expectation for further overtime to be approved?
Overtime is currently only approved for 3 employees at this time.
Understood.
Should there be it'll say the company has made a note that if for any reason you would be understaffed below 3, additional crew members are permitted to awaken on a 1-by-1 basis for overtime.
Understood. Thank you, Sage.
Which is you as an android with, the encyclopedic knowledge of the employee handbook is pretty standard for overtime. If for whatever reason you would be the allotted people short, you are absolutely approved to pull additional people to meet those hour requirements. Because it's the hours for overtime that is approved, not specific employees.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar will exit and look for his compatriots.
Probably
Okay.
gathered back in the mess hall.
Yeah, they're still in the habitation module.
Yeah.
I have communicated with Sage, and we have been given new work parameters for this overtime. We have been retasked to travel to Nix 8 in the Thanatos system. We are to go to Research Station 35-A and extract essential employees and data. The essential employees are Dr. Tyler Hall and Dr. Kagome Yoshida. The data we are collecting is in reference to xenoarchaeology. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Sage and communicate with her for further guidance.
So, like, we're just doing a pickup?
Search and
That is
rescue
my
by the sound of things.
Yeah. I mean, rescue, they wouldn't just wake up 3 of us, right?
Well, we've been approved for 3 individuals of overtime, and upon the necessity to reach that capacity of 3, we will have the ability to awaken more coworkers. I do
No.
believe that, based on what we've currently been given, we are simply picking them up, as a SOS beacon is what triggered this. So perhaps an accident occurred, and we are to extract essential personnel.
Something tells me that's not a good sign.
Accidents are not uncommon on research stations, as many
Well,
of the
also-
systems.
Go on.
No, go on. It was going to be a rant.
No. My brain was going somewhere else anyway.
As many research stations run off of different gases and need repair from time to time. If a employee of the company were to fail in their duties, a accident is not unavoidable.
Okay, well, I mean,
Well,
doesn't sound too bad. It's not like they're telling us to like get our asses over there 10-4, so it doesn't sound like we're worried about that kind of shit. Them under being under attack or nothing.
Sage's navigation systems have already routed us into that direction.
Yep.
Something tells me there's bad juju.
What?
Something
Can you quantify
tells me
this in
there's
data?
just some bad juju. A gut feeling, Oscar.
Is your gut able to make calculations like mine?
No, I think he's talking about like instinct and shit.
Ah,
Hey,
I see. You are experiencing fight or flight. Is there anything I can do to ease that burden?
Yeah, I said, what's giving you a bad feeling?
it was a simple pickup. Do we really need security?
I mean, I figure you're good at keeping people calm and orderly, right? Maybe that's what they wanted.
The possibility exists that these individuals may not be willing to simply walk away from whatever experiments they are working on. If so, a more forceful hand may be required.
Thea just shakes her head.
We have many people in the company that are devoted to their work and are proud of it.
Doing the
Yeah,
work
I mean,
is not a
leave it
problem.
up to Egg.
Just
I was gonna say, leave it up to eggheads to get snippy over details. Like you got to stop an experiment now and get back home or something.
and I think that might be it. Eggheads that I gotta deal
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Both essential personnel that have been designated for extraction are both doctors. Their doctorates I have not determined yet. I will look into any information available to us to see if I can find them in the organizational charts and track what their specialties are.
Pompous egghead.
Do we have a easy to look at org chart of like what our organizational structure is? Like, oh, this is the president of the company, and here are these individuals.
It would essentially be Sage. Sage kind of automatically, whenever you are at like a comm buoy or anything like that, where you can actually get significant data streams, will like update essentially. And so when you're looking for company information like that, you're kind of, that is whatever the latest information comes from, is Sage getting updates. So you could absolutely query Sage for that information.
Oscar will do that here in a moment. Make sure anyone else doesn't want to do anything.
I mean, it sounds like we ain't got much to do, us two, until we get there.
Did Sage tell you how long it's gonna take for us to get there?
I did not. I plan to inquire about the good doctors, so I will also inquire about our estimated ETA.
Right.
Oscar will go back to the computer room.
Cool. So you go in there. You start clacking away at the terminal. Which question you want to start with first?
ETA.
ETA is about 3 hours. It goes into detail where it changed the suspension timer for the hydrostasis while it was recalculating the trajectory and moving the ship and everything to put you on the path to get where you need to go. So it woke you up a few hours ahead of time before arrival.
Okay. And then looking up Tyler Hall and Kagome Yoshida.
So Tyler Hall comes up. He is a little bit of a hot shot, as far as you can tell, as far as doctors are concerned. He's early 30s. But what is publicly available in the company records is that he's been, he's alumni from the University on Mars, real hotshot academy essentially for xenoarchaeology. And he's written a few papers with some pretty spicy ideas on why we haven't found sapient aliens as of yet. But also known as well, no, that wouldn't be in public company records. So that's about what you would have. He's early 30s, Caucasian male. Yeah. He's been with the company also for like about 10 years at this point. Pretty much at the start of his job, he was assigned to Nix 8. He hasn't had postings anywhere else. So he's been at Nix 8 for what would be about 8 years at this point. Because it would have taken a couple years for them to get there.
Spent 8 of it on Nix. And then Dr. Kagome.
Dr. Kagome, she's kind of early 40s. Japanese heritage. Although her nationality is similarly marked as Martian. She's from the university there on Mars, majoring in xenoarchaeology. Although you see that she does also have a degree in like xenobiology. She's been with the company for about 20 years. You see that she did have a posting on another planet who doesn't even have a proper name. It's literally just a serial number, effectively, which shorthand tells you, realistically, not hospitable to human life. The ones that get serial numbers are kind of just celestial bodies that may have life forms and stuff on it, but are not ones that are really like population contenders. So they kind of just get studied and moved on from. And she's been similarly posted at Nix 8 for the last 10 years. So technically she's been there for 8 because of travel time.
Anything on Nix 8?
Yeah, company information shows Nix 8 is that it's effectively a Goldilocks world. The atmosphere is described as pristine, although the interesting thing of note is that the planet overall is a bit hotter than Earth. Getting down around the equator is like starting to really like push, like, is this really survivable? But you don't really have polar caps. And it doesn't snow as far as the information shows. There is like rain and stuff that happens, but the idea of winter is pretty much a slightly cooler season. And that's pretty much it. There are some notes that there is some like native plant life, native animal life, but no indications of sapient life.
Right. Is it like, are we talking environment wise, tropical with a lot of trees, a lot of rain for the majority of the planet?
Some regions of the planet are.
Okay.
They do have variable regions. It's not a one biome planet.
Okay.
It's mostly noted as various types of rainforests, cold and warm deserts. Well, I guess they're all technically warm deserts because they don't really get cold anywhere. But a variety of deserts, as well as like shrublands and other just generally like warm regions.
That will. What about research station 38A?
38A is listed as a long-term research station based on Nixate within the Thanatos system. It is one of several research stations. You will notice, though, that all the research stations listed are not all manned research stations. Some of them are automated observation outposts, effectively. The majority of them, even. They. Where did my notes go? Jesus Christ. The research station itself is home to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 staff members in total. A handful of which, well, about half of them are research staff, and then the rest are listed as support staff. You can see names if you want names, and what their positions are.
Yes, you don't have to read that out to me if you don't. If you just want to give me the names, just send me the list of names.
Sure.
That way, I'm not having it. It's just like, who's this person? What's their position? It's their support. Who's this person? What's their position? It's their name. This support.
Yeah.
Don't need to do that to you. If it's important,
Yeah.
mention them. If it's not important, just send me a list.
Why am I struggling? My brain. It's turning to soup.
Soup at the soup store.
I'm just gonna, because I have this like formatted all nice, I'm just gonna screenshot it. If my snipping tool wants to cooperate.
Understandable.
And I will, you know what? I will put it in our Mothership chat here, so the rest of you can also see it. Although because I'm sure he is going to share that information with you guys.
Yeah.
You also see like, they get a supply shipment once every 6 months. It looks like there's kind of a vessel that comes by every year, and then supplies are kind of distributed every 6 months from another station on the planet.
So every 6 months they get supplies?
Yes. But there's not another like spacefaring vessel that comes until every year. We'll say standard year.
Okay. It's kind of all that Oscar
I
would
forgot
think
to
to
put
look.
on there. Tyler Hall is also a research admin.
Okay. I assumed.
Yep. But yeah, that's the entirety of the staff. When they get shipments, there is some very basic information about the facility. They do have like a security fence. There are corporate standard security requirements in different places. And there's a company notice that, when landing, get in contact with chief of security.
Gotcha.
In order to gain access. You do see there is a note as part of your mission parameters that you have been given. The company has given approved access. But because you don't have anything to you don't have badges or codes or anything, so you still have to talk to them. It just spares them having to contact the company to make sure this is approved.
Fair enough.
Because sending a very basic string of information to be like, hey, these guys are supposed to be here doesn't take terribly long in this day and age. When you want to start sending, it's when you want to start sending like sound and video, when you're getting beyond kilobytes of data, it is a lot more onerous to send that thing.
No, absolutely.
Because realistically, this information that you were being retasked probably came in weeks, maybe months ago. So there's been time for that message to be translated to the planet, like help is on the way. More likely weeks ago. Anyways.
Many weeks ago, yeah.
Yes. So you've got all that information. Is there any other questions you had for Sage?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. Oscar will head back. I have gathered information on our upcoming overtime.
What'd you find?
Well, I have found out several things. Tyler Hall and Kagome Yoshida are graduates of the University of Mars, and both specialized in the xenoarchaeology field. Kagome Yoshida also holds a degree in xenobiology. She has been with the company for 20 years and had a posting at a research station on an inhospitable planet, but arrived roughly around the same time Tyler did to Nix 8. Nix 8 is a Goldilocks planet with a pristine environment, but is much hotter than Earth, and the equator is pushing the bounds of hospitable. Meanwhile, there are no polar ice caps or any signs of sapient life. 38-A research station is one of several in the system, although not all of them are manned, whereas 38-A is a little unusual as it houses 14 staff members, half of which are dedicated to research, the other are support staff. Here is the list of individuals and their roles. Exposition. Every 6 months.
Noises.
Yeah, a space vessel arrives once every standard year, with supplies every 6 months.
Okay.
Tyler Hall is a bit of a hotshot, and this is his first assignment with the company. Meanwhile, Kagome Yoshida has been with the company for a while, has proved herself, and I don't believe is trying to prove anything, and was just trying to work in the new position provided by the company. But my analysis could be incorrect. But this is the information Sage has based on our last time that we docked at a station with a proper uplink.
So it's going to be a hot planet. Both of them come from Mars. One's new, the other one's a long timer. Got it.
Um,
How long
but I
did you say
imagine
we were
Sage would have no
for us to get there?
3 hours.
Okay.
We will be arriving in 3 hours. Our trajectory was changed based on our previous assignment, so an adjustment was made. The cycle to wake us up began, and then we have since been rerouted. So within the next, I would say, 2 hours and 46 minutes, we would arrive.
Alright, so it ain't too far out. I don't suppose we know more of why we're being called over, right?
They sent out an SOS. The data received was then transmitted to the company, and the company is sending us. So they are requesting aid. The specifics of that aid, would the specifics of the aid have been processed in an SOS, or is it just a help button?
So it can be just, oh, we need help. It can also contain more information. All you know is that it was an SOS. If there was any information, it was not relayed to you. Or at least Sage is not making it available to you. Which, if Sage is doing that, it's by order of the company.
Yeah.
So it could have been either one. They could have flagged for help. There could have been more details. Either way, you're operating off of all of the information Sage and therefore the company is willing to give you.
But I believe with that, we are good to move forward.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got nothing that is killing me to ask.
Excellent. Well, we will need to, upon boarding, give the encrypted code to the security officer on standby so as to cut out the docking procedures. I'm sorry, Gia. My audio receptors didn't quite work. Could you repeat that?
Did you already get the code?
Yes. Code has been made available.
Okay.
I'm good to do a time skip because there's nothing as an android that I have to worry about.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I prep for coming over or getting there. That's kind of it.
Yeah. Is there anything specific that Umis want to do?
She is probably
Set
going
up
to
a
do some
little.
stretches and then do some workouts.
Okay.
Not about that.
I'm gonna make sure that like the habitation area is secure for Evie, so she doesn't get like lost out exploring the rest of the ship. I'm certain she's like comfortable on the ship. It's been long enough, but you know, I don't want to have to hunt her ass down.
Okay. So yeah, the 2.5 hours that are kind of left pass, and before you know it, it is kind of time to do atmospheric entry and bring the ship down. Luckily, you're not hauling a ton of cargo, so the size of the ship is not immense currently, because you kind of have a bit that extends based off of how much cargo you're hauling. But you go through the turbulence that involves breaking through Nix 8. The planet is a lot of a lot of brown mostly. There are patches of green here and there. You can see there are some oceans, but they look smaller than Earth oceans. At least what you've seen in the vids if you're not from Earth.
Hmm.
And you start coming down on this continent. Who knows if it's the north, south, or what? You've been in space long enough. You've kind of given up on the idea of north and south when you're approaching a planet you know nothing about.
Yeah.
It's just that one. Uh, of course, there is a lot of aid from Sage for bringing the ship in through the atmosphere and landing. There's essentially a like guidance computer that gives you a like vector for entry, along with guiding you visually on the screen the optimal path to take to get to the landing pad. So that you can like perfectly line up and land on it. And it's about like 15 minutes after breaking atmosphere, you do start seeing through the viewport, through the nose of the ship, this small little colony, well, not colony, the small research station behind like 8-foot wire fences, these prefab habitation units. You see them on like research planets and colonies all the time. These units are like made somewhere else and then they're shipped in and dropped off, connected real fast. Like it's a booming industry.
Hmm.
And you can see they're kind of connected in this network of hallways. That you come down onto this this landing platform. There's all this like sand and dust that gets blown up as you're landing. The terrain around the area is what some would call broken land. It's very rocky with lots of like ridges of stone and like stony outcroppings and all kinds of stuff. And there's like some vegetation and stuff. Like it's not a barren wasteland or anything. There's plants and everything. And when the ship is set down, Sage is like, you see the command saying like shutting down unnecessary systems, thrusters, etc., going through the automatic process of just, we're landed, we don't need all this different stuff on. But you have arrived.
So we will. I imagine I'm the one with the computers. Oscar will go to terminal and try to reach out to the security officer.
Yeah, sure. You get on the computer and you get like a visual like ... attempting to connect. Please wait, and kind of thinks for a moment, and then it says handshake complete, network secure. And you can see like a notation in the corner of the screen of like IS connected X, such and such network. Coburn Dynamics, blah blah blah. And you're able to send a message through very like a basic like messaging program, effectively.
Yeah.
Saying, this is vessel such and such with Coburn Dynamics. We're responding to the distress call. We have clearance to be here.
And just to double check, that's Chef Lindsay Ramos, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're looking for security EV web.
Yeah. I was just making sure that I was reading Chef, not Chief.
Yeah, they have a proper cook as support staff.
Hey, lucky them.
Yeah.
It'd be like that sometimes.
This is Android designation 05C4R, part of the crew of what the fuck do we name our ship?
We didn't. I have named it Mothership. Oh no, it's the CDS Mango. My bad.
Part of CDS, a part of the crew of CDS Mango. We are attempting to research for, attempting to reach out for proper docking authorities and for a response to a SOS.
A few moments go by, and then you get a, just this bluish green text that is on the monitor. Very emotionless. Just says you don't need permissions or anything like that. Just come on down to the lobby here, and I'll meet you there.
Acknowledged. Thank you for your hospitality. We are good to exit. We shall meet Security Officer Evie Webb in the main lobby.
Okay.
At this point, she will have her shotgun.
I mean, I'm sure as hell no. I just got my tools.
Okay. So you all gather up whatever bits of equipment you need, and you step off of the Mango. And as soon as the door opens, it is just a wave of hot, dry air. It is, in freedom units, roughly like 95 degrees outside. It is hot.
Remember, kids, the F stands for freedom units.
Yes.
Yes. It's 95 freedoms, bro.
I think I could be wrong, but I think for Celsius it's about 70 something. I think might be 60 or 70 something. I don't know.
It is 35 exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I try to be inclusive, but I'm not going to pretend to know what the conversion for Celsius is. I just guessed.
Understandable.
So yeah, it's a little hot out.
A little bit.
And you step out, and they're not kidding. You have been breathing stale ass, recycled, CO2 scrubbed air for probably the past 2 years, at least. It's at least been 2 years since you've actually been on a proper planet. The air here is fresh as fuck. Like, you can see why they said this planet is pristine. The atmosphere is like untouched.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't just so bloody hot. The heat is something you were not prepared for. You're used to fucking temperature control.
Honestly, I'll take that. Yeah.
With the temperatures being as high as they are. With the temperatures as high as they are, please remember to drink water.
Okay, euphemism bot.
The android is a hydro homie.
Yeah, there's a reason why I joined the Corps. Get away from this kind of heat from home.
If all goes well, we will not be here long.
You can see standing out here that the landing pad is outside the security fence. Let me go ahead and do this for you, because I made a map.
Oh boy.
Yay.
As you are Well, no, the ship will stay there for the moment. But you're getting off. You're looking around. You can see that there is a part of there is a habitation unit that is outside the fence. You can see there's two of them. There's kind of a path that goes off to the left that looks like it goes to like some kind of like almost like a loading dock type building, which then has like a little path that you can see that goes to a gate. But then you see another building that looks like the proper entrance. It's not really paved or anything, but because it is like directly head on from walking off the landing pad, it looks like it's probably the right place to go. And it has, you can see how it is connected to the lobby as you're like coming down the stairs from the landing pad.
We must head to the lobby. We were told to meet Evie Webb in the lobby.
All right.
Yeah, you head over there. The front door just opens, and you can immediately feel like a wave of AC pass over you as you enter. You can see a couple, like two scanners that have been set up, along with essentially like security gates that are preventing you entrance. Yeah, you hear a very brief over the intercom. I'm on my way. Just stay put. And an awkward like clack of the intercom shutting off. You wait there maybe like a minute, and you hear like a door across the room opening, and you can see there is this woman. She's not in like a full uniform. It's more a button-up shirt in the Coburn Dynamics like blue-green color with black slacks and everything. She's got a essentially a service pistol at her hip. This must be Evie Webb, who is the who works as security support staff here. She's maybe like 5'6". Caucasian, brunette, hair is in a bun, very relaxed posture. She comes over. Right. We got permission for you guys to come in here. I still technically need you to pass through the security scanners and stuff. I do see one of you is carrying weapons. If you could bring those over here. She like motions to another station that is clearly like for scanning smaller items. Because, procedure.
Right.
Understood. Oscar will take off his belt and remove his revolver and put it through the scanner.
Okay, cool. So y'all kind of go through that. She's checking to make sure there's nothing like crazy about your stuff, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, we got to do this. I know you're supposed to be here, but like, it's my job." And then once all the personal items are through that need to be scanned, she essentially walks you guys through these larger scanners. They are like, everybody can imagine what a metal detector looks like. These are heavier duty than that. This is like sci-fi person scanner shit that can do some deep scan type shit. Each time one of you goes through, you hear this really automated, "Welcome, new user," and then your name and your whatever title you may have with the company.
Interesting.
Yeah. Once you're through all of that, she's like, okay, great. So here, let's get out of here. I'll take you over to the lobby here. She takes you to the door, and
Are we able to get our stuff back?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
She goes over the door. She pulls like her badge from the pocket on her shirt and swipes it. The door opens, and you guys start walking through the hallway. So, the situation's kind of weird right now. It'll kind of like be clearer as we, kind of go through this, but you're, from what I understand, you're only taking the doctors, like only Kagome and Tyler.
And relevant data.
Right. So the company didn't say anything about the rest of us.
Yes, it was my guess that perhaps the two of them were facing a medical emergency that needed to have them potentially moved off the
Well,
planet, or
that's a little complicated and probably above my pay grade to really comment on. And then you pass through the door into the lobby. The lobby is a fairly comfortable looking thing. There's like a couch. There's like a small coffee machine. You can see that there is a small pair of restrooms off to the side. Like a coffee table. There's no magazines or anything. It's a rest area that nobody probably uses. But she stops there in the lobby and it's like, well, I so I'm not even sure where to start. Dr. Hall cannot he can't leave under his own volition. I take it you have a hydrostasis module on your ship, right?
yes.
Okay, great. He has to stay in hydrostasis. I don't. Maybe you can talk to one of the other doctors about it. I don't really know what his situation is, but it has been deemed necessary for his well-being to stay that way until he can get somewhere where they can help him.
There was no mention in personnel file regarding a disability that required this.
Yeah, I don't think it's a disability. Something happened. There was an incident. And we attempted to restrain him, and there were some minor injuries, and it was deemed necessary to sedate and put him into stasis. So
okay.
The company has advised us to keep him in stasis. And he, as far as I am aware, the company is expecting him to be transported in stasis. Yeah.
This is doable.
Okay.
What of Kagome?
So I haven't seen her in a couple days.
That's concerning.
Yeah, her and a couple of the other doctors have been, shall we say, MIA. I know where they are, but I cannot access them.
So you're saying they haven't come back from where they're at? They haven't even done
Yeah.
like any check-ins or even come in for dinners or foods or.
Correct.
Oh boy,
It's been about 2 days now.
it's not good. It's not
Yeah.
good.
As biologicals, do they have a stash of water in the current location that you do not have access to?
They're I mean, yes, it's not supposed to be drinking water, but I am aware that they do have like proper distilled clean water that they would have access to. So,
I see. You made mention of noting specifically that the company did not move to have everyone extracted. Are you concerned for your safety?
I'm more confused than anything really about what's going on. Ever since they found the dig site, things have just kind of been weird. So I'm just really concerned and just confused mostly.
What do you mean by weird?
They
Well, Dr. Hall, he had his entire freak out, we'll call it. Got
Mhm.
really obsessive over this thing and that he was working on, and then he just kind of started doing some weird shit. So he is contained. And then we were told, help would come get him and to continue. I guess the rest of them were told to continue the research. I don't really know. I don't communicate directly with the company generally outside of security specific matters. So they probably got other orders that I've not gotten that I don't know about.
understood. Is this dig site accessible to us?
At the moment, unfortunately not. You need admin access, specifically research admin access, which only Dr. Hall and Dr. Yoshida have.
I see.
Yeah. Some of the other staff are around. I could try to see if we can communicate with the company and maybe figure something out, or maybe there might be some kind of override or something because you're here to retrieve Dr. Yoshida. Maybe. I'm not sure. But I can take a look and maybe I can show you where you can find some of the other staff, or just show you around or whatever. I don't want to tell you how to do your job. So it's what you want to do. It's up to you.
Are there any concerns that you would like to report before we attempt to make contact with Yoshida?
I don't know, honestly. If I don't know. I mean, my only concern is like if they're starting to go crazy, like Dr. Hall was going crazy. I mean, I would tell you to be careful.
Would we be able to talk to uh, Dr. Kenneth? Are they available?
Let me see. Yes. She's in medical 1. I can show you to her. I can take you there.
I would appreciate that. Is there anything else the rest of you would like to take a look at?
I'd like to take a look around the rest of the facility. Also, just to get my bearings around the place.
At the moment, you only have general access, but you can absolutely. There's a couple areas you can go take a look at using that general access, but you won't have access to the full facility.
Does that access also include the doctor in stasis?
Yeah, yes. You can get to medical 1 with general access. You cannot enter the hydrostasis hab without medical admin access.
That's fine.
Security purposes.
Right.
But yeah, if you want to follow me, you're free to go look around if you want. I can show you to the good doctor.
I would greatly appreciate it.
She's the good one because she talks to me. So I'll start kind of. You get the impression she's kind of half joking, like.
Yeah. The sane one. I'll talk to the sane one.
Yeah, there's 14 people here, and even some of them will not really talk to you. It's rough.
It's definitely not good for everyone's sanity.
Yeah. Let me do this. Because as you pass some of these doors and stuff, you will see like labels for things. So here you go. I'll give you the full version of the map at some point, but not yet. You all so you're in the lobby 1. She takes you through one of the 3 doorways, one of which is the one you came through. You go into what looks like essentially a cafeteria, and you can see like a window and doorway that connects to what must be a kitchen. You see 2 doors for bathrooms. Pretty sizable bathrooms from what you can tell just looking in. But then she hangs a right and takes you through another hall into what looks like to be like another sort of lobby area. Like there's another couch, carpet, a small coffee machine, small restroom.
Okay.
You see a few more doors. One door is labeled for comms, one's labeled for offices, and then you see another door that does not have a security requirement, which he takes you down. As well as you see doors for custodial and decon. But you go down the door labeled Medical 1, and you go into this pretty clean looking, medical unit. It's kind of like a mini hospital, essentially. You can see there is like a storage section, a few hospital beds, kind of IVs and stuff on standby, as well as a desk, and there is the good doctor there, Dr. Sybil Kennett. She is a very small framed woman, short. She's like 5'2", pair of glasses, very piercing gaze though. Small but vicious, essentially. It's kind of the vibe you're picking up just from seeing her. But she's in, a white coat, a company button-up shirt, so that blue-green color, the black slacks, whole shebang. And you can see her admin access key is like clipped onto the pocket of her coat. It's got the purple band underneath her name, indicating, medical admin. or admin, anyways. She looks over and says, "Oh my, new faces. I take it you're here to relieve us of a problem."
What can you tell
Correct.
us about the problem?
That's the hope.
All right. Well, he is. Do you want me just to show him to you, or show you to him, or did you have any questions for me?
Yes. What was the nature of this quote unquote freak out?
Aha. Oh, great, Evie. Thank you for sharing partial information. She just kind of holds up her hands, rather than trying to defend herself. It's like, we don't exactly know the nature of what is going on with Dr. Hall. It is, well, in some circles, some would be quick to label it as deep space psychosis, but I am not convinced. So, he is remaining unknown as far as his situation because it is not just psychological, it is a physical situation as well. Part of the reason why he is in mandated hydrostasis for the time being. But in short, he began showing obsessive behaviors, some degrees of paranoia when preventing him from engaging in those obsessive behaviors. And then these behaviors, when said obsession was technically complete, he became aggressive. He did report to me of experiencing hallucinations. And what I would describe as acute paranoia. Claiming that there were, people watching him, voices when nobody was around, these sorts of things. This is why many would assume deep space psychosis, which would further be supported by the aggressiveness into violence that he displayed. However, he is also showing signs of, well, I'm not exactly sure how to describe it, but his health is in flux. I will put it that way. And so he needs to remain in hydrostasis under any circumstances.
Understood. Has Dr. Kagome, come to you with any similar situations, as we are also due to bring her aboard, along with any data that they two of them have been researching?
She has not. However, two of the researchers have come to me with concerns. They seem to believe that whatever Dr. Hall was experiencing may be spreading. However, I have already ran the tests. It is absurd. Whatever Dr. Hall endured is not communicable. It cannot spread. Whatever it is localized entirely within Dr. Hall. Although I do think it might be in Dr. Yoshida's best interest, considering these concerns, that she do be given leave, as well as maybe a psychological workup.
Understood. What do you know about the dig site? As we are also due to collect the archaeological data Have any findings been shared with you, or?
A lot of that information is not really in my purview. A lot of that information has been withheld from me because what am I going to do with it? All I know is that there are no contaminants that are threatening in a medical sense, to my knowledge. And that whatever this discovery is, Dr. Hall was of the mind that it could be a massive change for humanity. Flair for the dramatic.
Yes, I do believe this was his first job as an alum of Mars University. The potential for stress to make such a thing so early in his career may have caused a mental break. Is that a potential?
Maybe. I'm not properly a psychologist. I have my minor and additional studies and such that I have done, but I am not a proper licensed psychologist, psychoanalyst, whatever you want to call it. I petitioned for us to have one out here, considering, but the company.
And never give you exactly what you like, right?
Well, it's with how in demand they are across all the colonies and such, the cost for them was deemed too high and not of value in regards to the situation here. So, if we are in dealing with potential cases of deep space psychosis, the best thing for them is to get them out of here and back to civilization.
Are we able to see Dr. Hall? Understandably in stasis still.
I suppose you're going to see him anyways at some point, so I don't see why not. Although I have to go with you, of course. I cannot leave you alone with him. She will get up from her chair, take a sip from her mug, put it back down, and then wait for you all to follow her. And she will walk you across the room to a door that is marked hydrostasis. And she'll grab her badge, swipe it, and will lead you all through. And travels down this relatively long hallway that kind of bends a couple times, and she swipes her badge again for the next door and leads you into this room. It's a little bit warmer than the other rooms, but it's still temperature controlled. You can see there are enough pods for everybody here at the research station, plus 2 additional. So it should be something like 16 pods, I think, because it's 14 staff members.
Yep.
And one of them is active. You can see the bluish green fluid that is filled this pod. And you can see the vague shape of like Dr. Hall inside. He is curled up. As you approach, you kind of have to like lean in and really look through the glass because it's refraction and all that stuff. His features are kind of off. His like one half of his face is kind of like drooping as if he like was having a stroke. One of his hands has an extra finger. And one of his arms you can kind of see like some kind of like dermal ridges or something. Like it's almost like scales, kind of. It's kind of strange. He was definitely experiencing some kind of medical emergency.
Well, it ain't just psychosis.
Precisely.
Crazy people don't grow fingers and scales. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are.
Oh, they could be genetic defects. We have no guarantee what he looked like beforehand.
I
We
will
do.
tell you, he did not look like this beforehand.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
quite alarming. Still says with a customer support smile.
It's coming from a very deep personal place, I feel like.
Art imitates life.
If you know, you know. Right. Well, that's him. He's alive. Well enough. Who knows? I don't know what his condition is precisely, other than alive. We Yes, go ahead.
You said that he'd had to stay sedated. I imagine these pods are not transferable.
They are, however, we do need to hook up a generator to it before we uninstall it and move it.
But yeah, that shouldn't be too hard. As long as we got the parts.
Well, you're going to need a lift. And
Yeah.
you need to... We have one. You just need to talk to Roy. Sorry, Mr. Grant. He's generally over in the garage or over in storage or somewhere around the premises outside.
All right.
Understood.
It'll also it'll take some time to get it decoupled and everything. So I don't know if you're on a very explicit timetable, but if you are, let me tell you now, you might want to slow that down a little bit. Things don't happen fast out here.
No. Faster, better, especially with whatever the fuck's going on. He looking at, like, I know you got him in stasis and all, but he ain't changing while he's in there, right? Like, he looks the same as when he went in.
Yes. If you look closely here, you can see on his right temple there's still a gash there from where he was whipped in the head by Evie here with the bottom of her handgun.
Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Yes. He is as we put him away. Although that said, you can actually see where it's like scabbed because of the nutrients in the fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that at least tells us he's alive.
Yeah.
The last thing we would need to do is get the information from any of the xenoarchaeology that has been done, as well as retrieving Dr. Kagome.
Well, I know some of the researchers are probably in the dormitory right now. Some of them may still be in the general research lab. I know one or two probably went with Dr. Yoshida into the xenoarchaeology lab. But you should at least find a few in the dorms. As far as the researchers are concerned, I'm sure you can find our chef in the kitchen. And you'll probably see the custodial staff wandering around.
Thank you. We appreciate your assistance.
Of course.
I'll go find that Roy fella. See about getting the technical stuff all sorted out.
Oh boy, is the gang gonna split up?
Gia, do you wish to accompany me to talk to the research staffers? Or do you believe that your efforts would be best suited to finding Roy?
Not really much on the technical side. But if we're going to be gathering gathering some of the information, you could probably use an extra hands. So
I plan to talk to the researchers, and I wouldn't mind the assistance, but finding Roy, that way we can solve 1/3 of our job here, would also be beneficial. Divide and conquer, as they say.
right. Out of character wise, I'm just going to go with Oscar.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
All right. So you head out. Let's Evie is gonna have to go with Jane to go find Roy because you need security access to go that way. So we will start with the two of you going to go talk to the researchers.
All right.
You head your way back out towards the cafeteria and then into the dormitory. There is a Asian looking gentleman at a ping pong table opposite a very tall black gentleman, and they're casually going at it. They're just kind of going back and forth. And they hear the door open and they turn to look and they see the lot of you, and black guy goes, "Oh, well, finally, people." And the ping pong ball goes across his side, and the Asian guy's like, "Ha! You looked away." It's like, yeah, screw you.
Hello. You may call me Oscar. This is Gia.
Oh, you're a synth. All right. Okay. Why am I not surprised?
Yep.
Company always sends their best. Well, hello there, Gia and Oscar. I'm Terrell. Terrell Leving, xenoarchaeology. And the Asian guy is like, I'm Woo. Yeah, he's general research. So are we all getting out of here? What's going on? What's the plan?
The current assignment is for the extraction of a Tyler Hall and Kagome Yoshida. And any relevant xenoarchaeology data.
Okay. Wow. All right. Shit. Sure. That's great.
It is my understanding that there was a incident with Dr. Hall.
Yeah, he went crazy. Frankly, he went fucking crazy.
Tell me how he went crazy.
We found that dig site,
Mm-hmm.
and dude, I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really fascinating. It's really cool. I'm thrilled. Well, was thrilled about it. But I don't know if it went to his head or what, but he lost his goddamn mind down there. He was obsessive, which I mean, who wouldn't be, but unhealthily. So, like, dude was not sleeping. Like, he would come to bed, and I mean, I would wake up because of him waking up in the middle of the night, like doing shit, like talking to himself, and be like, dude, who are you fucking talking to? And he's like, they were just here, and like dude was out of his mind. Like, he totally lost it. Like, DSP all the way. Dude's bug nuts. He's crazy.
All right.
And whoa, did you notice anything peculiar as well?
Oh yeah. I've noticed some things, man. He was, I mean, Dr. Hall was always kind of, he always kind of said some crazy shit from time to time, but I mean, he really started saying some crazy shit. Like, he was having full-on conversations in the cafeteria when nobody else was in there. Like, and sometimes it'd be a few days before he'd come back up from the lab. Like, started eating less. Just kind of stopped talking to the rest of us. Kind of always seemed a little shocked when we would interact with him. It's like, dude, we've been here for years. Like, you think he would expect us to interact with him, but nah, I don't know. I agree with Terrell here. DSP, man. I mean, I think it's a pretty open and shut case. I don't know about like this weird shit. Maybe he just also caught something or what, but I don't know. Maybe he did some weird science shit down there in the archaeology lab.
How long ago did you guys discover the big site?
Oh, what was it now, Terrell? Big guy kind of scratches the stubble on his chin. I think it was about a year ago. Not a year-ish. Doc lost his mind about, I mean, we threw him in stasis about like 6 months ago. Like, that's when he like total breakdown, like just started fucking swinging on people.
All right.
Was it gradual or did it happen suddenly? Where he
The
went off
violence?
the behavior, was it a gradual uptick?
Oh, it
And
was
it occurred
definitely
more often?
gradual. Like, he was just like really into his work, and then it just kind of over time, it was, one thing here or there. And then it just, the instances of it kept increasing. Until eventually, I mean, we were like, dude, you need to slow down. You need to eat. We were just trying to talk to him. And I mean, he went fucking crazy, just yelling all kinds of shit. Like, y'all don't understand. And then he just like, I don't even know. It's like he just forgot how to talk. Like, he was just making noises like an animal. I mean, just grunting and gurgling, and I don't know, dude. It wakes me up sometimes when I dream about it. It was fucking weird. All right, I'm just gonna be honest. It was like a totally different person. It just, I don't know. But all I know is I want the fuck out of here. But apparently I don't get to leave yet. So, yeah, contracts.
We are also due to extract Kagome. Has she started showing similar signs? I heard that her and several other researchers have not been seen for 48 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. She's rarely up here anymore. So maybe that's a sign in and of itself. Because since that, she's been working hard down there. You know, I've talked to her a few times. I've made it pretty clear, like I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down to the dig site. So I'm like, they didn't make a fuss over it. I mean, you know, I've talked to them from time to time, and honestly, I don't know. I have concerns that maybe whatever this is has something to do with the dig site. Maybe there's something in the dig site. Maybe maybe it's something in the air or in the soil or something. I don't know. Like, obviously it's not affected everybody, but you know, I don't know. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know what all is in the realm of possibility, but what I do know is shit is weird, and I don't like it. And I do not feel safe here.
What was Kagome's behavior the last time you interacted with her in an extended manner?
She was pretty dismissive of my concerns, honestly. She really wanted to just, you know, she wanted me to go with down into the dig site to better understand whatever it is going on here. She wanted my help in the lab as well to look at some material samples. And she was a little agitated that I said, that I didn't feel safe. But she ultimately let me go. And I think I heard her mutter something under her breath when I left, but I don't know. I don't know what she said.
I see. What about you, Wu?
I'm a general researcher, so I don't really, well, she doesn't give a shit about me. I'll just be really honest. Yeah. I probably haven't talked to her in like a month. She was, she seemed stressed, but nothing specific comes to mind.
I see. And was she always like this in the 8 years that she's been here?
No. She's generally been pretty, I wouldn't say necessarily like relaxed. She's very proper corporate scientist, if you catch my meaning. But not as like high strung as she has been these past few months. But I guess I can't blame her either. You know, her coworker kind of tried to bash somebody's skull in. So, yeah.
Where did that? You said that happened in the cafeteria, or did that happen in the
Yeah.
dormitory?
Yeah, it was in the cafeteria. Was just trying to get the guy to eat something, and he just, whew, lost it.
I see. Is there anything else of note that you'd like to make mention to? Anything strange that you may have seen, or any unusual behaviors outside of what's been stated?
You know, it's probably nothing, but I did The other night, I thought I heard somebody shouting down the hall. Like in the cafeteria. I went in there. Nobody was in there. I looked around. I didn't see nobody. That was weird. I chalked it up to just, probably, that, when you're like kind of half awake and it's like the dream versus reality kind of blends together. You're not really sure what's what. Kind of chalked it up to that.
Understood. I appreciate your cooperation in this. I will make mention to the corporation that you would like to be relieved of this duty. I make no promises, however, as I am a simple designation meant for shipping.
Nah, don't tell them shit about that. Like, look, I already sent a report, like, I don't feel safe here, whatever. If they're not going to abide that, I'm just going to wait out the contract because chances are they don't want to give me severance, so they're going to try to wait me out so that I quit so that they don't have to give me severance or just wait out the contract. So nobody here is raising a stink about me, not feeling safe down there. So I'll just ride it out.
Understood.
Just fuck Coburn, man.
Which of these are they like bunks or are they rooms?
They are rooms. They don't look
Which
very
of
big,
these-
but they are rooms.
Yeah. Which of these rooms was Dr. Hall's?
That one there by the door on the right there. He kind of points across the way. I should describe the dorms a little bit better. There is like kind of the middle of it is kind of a really open space. There's like a couple of couches, some tables. There's ping pong table, what amounts to essentially some higher tech like arcade machines. It's like a very like relaxed type of space. But then the south wall is all like dorm rooms essentially. Each one has a door that can be locked. You can open it. When you go inside, the room is generally like a bed that is like built into the wall. There is like a personal desk, a closet, and like storage bins and stuff like that. It's large enough to have a comfortable personal space where you can be alone. Going to Dr. Hall's room. Actually, we'll come back to that. We're gonna hop over to our intrepid solo adventurer, joined by the NPC, Jane with Edie. If you're there, Damiani.
I was muted. I'm here.
Okay, just making sure. Evie takes you through the cafeteria back into lobby 1 and swipes her badge to take you over to the garage.
All right.
The garage is notably a little bit dirtier than the other hab units you've been in, but is relatively clean. There are a couple of trucks. One of them, there's a couple bays for vehicles. You do see like a truck, and then you see one of the other vehicles is gone. You can also see like there is a forklift, as well as a couple other vehicles that are, serve multiple purposes. Evie kind of puts her hands on her hips. Well, shit.
Take it he's supposed to be clear and visible.
Well, he's Roy. I mean, he's like the groundskeeper, whatever you want to call it. He's grounds management. he, he goes around. He has to regularly check the fences. He has to check all the utilities, make sure all that stuff is running, as well as watch for any like invasive plants or wildlife that maybe have gotten through the fence, anything like that. Does a lot of like handyman type stuff too. He does a variety of things. Which honestly makes him hard to track down sometimes because he doesn't really tell anybody what he's doing. He just goes and does it. So she gestures to the empty spot in the garage. And I take that to mean he is probably somewhere else on the facility grounds. Because if he was here, his vehicle would be here.
All right.
So we can go wander around and look for him, or we can, wait.
I feel like if we wander around looking for him, he may end up coming back, and we just miss each other for longer.
Fair enough.
Better just sit put and wait. He's got to come back at some point, right? And if he doesn't, then that's unusual, and then we can start kicking a fuss.
Yeah. All right, well, sit tight.
Mm-hmm.
So you just grab a seat on a couch by the door and just hang out and wait. We'll hop back over to the other two. You open the door to Dr. Hall's room, and it is it's kind of messy. You see that there is his closet. There is a pile of just clothes. Nothing's on hangers anymore. His blanket has been thrown over the mirror on the wall. His pillow is on the floor. His chair for his desk is tipped over. You can vaguely make out kind of like the grease of a handprint against the wall above his bed.
Interesting. Are there any like notes or anything, like any paper notes?
No notes. Trying to see if they're. I will. If you want to like thoroughly look this place over, well, isn't really necessary though. Where's my cheat sheet? Fuck. I had one of the two cheat sheets open. Sorry, just one moment.
You're fine.
There's not really. Okay. So, yeah. Kind of what you see is what it is. What was the question you had? I'm sorry.
I was wanting to see if you had like any notes or anything like written down.
Not that you can see at the moment, no.
Okay. The first thing that catches
the desk, I will say, there are some like pens and markers and just kind of stuff scattered about. But you don't see anything written down.
The first thing that Oscar will think to do is to go over to the mirror and remove the blanket from it and see like if he wrote anything on that, or if like he broke it or something.
Yeah, you
take the blanket off the mirror, and there is a slight clattering as a couple shards do plink against the top of the desk. It's a spiderwebbed fracture from a single impact point, it looks like. There is, like, in marker, a lot of things scrawled across the mirror. There are things like, I can't help you. Who are you? Why are you following me? And honestly, things that are also just word salad. Things that don't make much sense. As well as just scribbles. Meaningless, chaotic messes of just lines and shapes.
Could I do a linguistics to try to like see if I could try to make sense of anything that's randomly in it?
Sure. So, as a reminder, you roll a D100. You are rolling your you're going to be rolling your intellect, and you can add your bonus from linguistics to that, and that is the number you want to roll below.
Okay. Awful.
Woof.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a fail.
Well, it's not a critical fail, so you are going to get stress. Because in this, you gain stress from failing checks.
Oh boy.
This is one of the reasons why checks are really only recommended unless there's actually like some kind of chance for failure. So just saying, perception check for walking into the room is not a thing you do in the system. So you look at this and you do wonder, like, maybe he was going crazy. Maybe he was talking to himself, and maybe that mirror was how he was doing it. But the random scribbling and stuff, you really have no idea.
He did seem to go off the deep end, as they would say. Perhaps a paranoid state struck our doctor.
Potentially, but it looks like it was having a conversation of some kind.
But with who? Why would he have a conversation and write it on a mirror? If you were to have a conversation with someone, that'd be mark of the reply, I'd imagine. I imagine that this is all just due to a paranoid state where he believed he heard someone or believed he was talking to someone.
Yeah. That could give the idea of delusions, yes, and paranoia and hallucinations, but to living people, those hallucinations and conversations can still be real. We're only seeing part of the conversation.
I wonder if the hallucinations ever replied then. Is that what you're implying?
They replied in not in a fashion that we are getting.
And I agree with that estimate. What I am attempting to get at is if they did reply to him, these hallucinations, do you make mark of it somewhere?
Do you make a mark of our conversation?
I don't have to.
Then Would it make sense
Yeah.
that they don't have to make mark of their conversation?
Well, I don't have to because mine are saved to a databanks. They are already marked.
Oh my god, I forgot I'm talking to. Look, Oscar. Sometimes, actually, not even sometimes, for most people that are organic, when we're having a conversation, we don't have to mark our responses or other people's responses.
Same smile,
It-
just tilt of the head.
I can
It's not
picture
like
this in a fucking horror movie. It's absolutely like, I know he didn't do it, but I want to believe he did because that's some crazy robot shit.
Yep.
A conversation can have very important data in it. Why would you not want to save it?
You're not wrong, Oscar. It's just not how humans have conversations.
That seems inefficient.
The fact that I have to try and explain a conversation to you is actually what's making my head hurt right now.
I believe that if it was of import as such to drive the doctor to such a state, I imagine he would potentially make note of it. Perhaps it's in these scrawlings. However, the doctor's handwriting became erratic, and I am not able to decipher it.
Yeah, by the looks of it. I'm not going to even try to guess what's going on with that. Out of character, Zach.
Yep.
Are there any like drawers or cabinets, like maybe a
The
safe
desk
or a
has
locker in there?
couple
Are any of them locked or lockable?
No,
No.
not from what you can tell. The door itself has a lock, which is the general, like, if you want privacy, you lock this.
Right. Okay.
Going through the desk drawers, you see some, like writing supplies, writing utensils. You do see there is a notepad, and you see sketches for something. You're not really sure what it is, but it looks to be like some kind of triangular prism at first. It's got three sides. It's flat on the bottom, but at the top, it ends in like a three-sided pyramid, essentially. And there are like just meaningless scribblings all over it.
Hey,
And
like
there
math.
is like notations of dimensions, as well as you think what might be shapes of the inside of it. Like, it almost looks like there's some kind of like tubing or whatever that is supposed to be inside, if you're understanding the diagrams correctly. It's weird.
With mathematics, without rolling, am I able to get like a good understanding? It's like, oh, it's like this big. It's
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
without rolling. Wanted to
Yeah.
preface that.
Oh,
okay.
Rolling. You can tell this thing is probably, if you had to guess, maybe about 7 feet tall.
Jeez.
Yeah, you think maybe at a widest point, maybe like 3 feet wide.
The temptation to roll mathematics to try to get more information is there.
You could. I'll leave that up to you.
Fuck it, why not?
Okay.
So remember, D100, your intellect plus your mathematics.
Question: is this a D100 system or a D99 system, Zach?
This is let me double check the book. I think this is technically a 0 to 99.
Please.
Yes, it's a 0 to 99.
Thank God.
Congratulations, you win.
don't
So
lose.
a 0-0 is always a critical failure.
I'm sorry?
Yes. A 99 is always a critical success.
Get fucked, dude.
The one time Brandon was like, "Oh my god, I rolled amazing." It was actually a crit fail.
Okay.
fuck.
then.
Let me look at what a critical failure does here real quick. Because
Miraculous, dude. You just could not be better.
Ladies and
Let's
gentlemen, and everyone in between on
okay.
that beautiful rainbow, I have made 2 rolls tonight. One was an 82, one was 100. I have a 67 technically for this roll. It's astounding.
Okay.
2 failures and one of them being a critical. It's just math is bullshit.
So, from what I understand, you gain a stress.
Okay, so I hit 2 of 2.
Something.
You gain a stress. You should be up to. You should have a max of 20.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, your minimum starts at 2 generally.
Yeah.
What
So you'd be-
determines?
It's just is.
Yeah, you see on your sheet it says minimum starts at 2.
Yeah.
So you go 2 to 20. When you gain your first stress, you'll get 3, and then 4, and then blah 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 blah.
Yeah, they do it a little weird on the sheet. It's not super clear. But it does go up to 20. Your minimum is 2.
So technically speaking, my minimum was 2, and I've gained 2. I'm at 4 right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me do. So now, you, so something bad is supposed to happen. We'll get to that. You need to make a panic check. The way this works, you need to roll a d20. And you want to roll higher than your stress.
Yeah.
It's just a flat d20.
I smell a 1.
Well,
Oh my
let's
god,
see.
it's a 16.
Well,
You're
there
good.
was a 1 with a 6.
Yeah.
Big difference. Important.
You don't panic. You're looking at this. The size of it is fine. But you start looking at the insides. You start looking at these tubes, these shapes, and you're looking at the math, and you are distinctly aware that this is not adding up. This cannot work in any real way. It is non-Euclidean, to be brutally honest. It is not physically possible to build the interior of this thing in such a way and have it still be so smooth on the outside and maintain its dimensions. This is not right, and there is some kind of understanding you yet pull away from this thing, and it kind of unnerves you. You get the sense that there is some kind of resonance that this thing creates. Some math that is beyond your understanding, but rooted into some kind of math. A math that your synthetic mind is desperately wanting to know, to understand, because you don't understand it, and that is a foreign thing to you.
What Gio will see as Oscar looks at these notes is occasionally just like a slight turn, like to the left, like a twitch back and forth, just repeatedly. Peculiar.
What you're computing there, Oscar?
Math. Math that
Math?
I can't compute.
What do you mean?
Normally, 2 plus 2 equals 4. Correct?
Yeah.
What if 2 plus 2 equaled grapes? The twitching stops.
What kind of coil level shit is that?
I do not know. Perhaps the doctor's math was incorrect. Perhaps his state started harming his mental faculties more than we previously concluded. A slight twitch, real quick.
He sees that again, walks up behind Oscar, and slaps the back of his head.
Percussive maintenance is not recommended for units of my model.
Well, but it's going to help me feel better.
It is said that catharsis is bad for the body, specifically the heart. We could talk to the doctor about it.
Did I just shoot you now?
Catharsis is bad for the body, specifically the heart.
Oh my god. I had to go with the android.
It was a decision that you made of your own free will.
Yeah, because I figured you would need extra help carrying stuff, but no, apparently I just need to sit here and carry my sanity with me.
Oscar will stow the notepad. Stow it away. He's going to keep a hold of that.
Okay.
I believe this might fall underneath the category of research and xenoarchaeological data. I find it is important that we return this to the company. Do you wish to go through the rest of his belongings?
Maybe might as well. We found something, so who knows what else is also hiding around underneath the mess.
When Miss Webb returns, I do wish to see security footage, if any is available.
Fair, but also while we're thinking, while we're rooting around in this hab unit, I wonder where Dr. Gomez's hab unit is.
That is a fair point. Perhaps we should ask. Although, as the others do not feel as slighted by her, us digging through her belongings would likely be viewed negatively.
Well, she's still a personnel we gotta extract, and she's working on the thing. Still relevant to the mission duty.
Perhaps we should tell them that we are gathering her belongings. I will start gathering Dr. Hall's.
If you start twitching more weirdly in other ways, I think I'm gonna have to hit you harder.
That is not recommended, as eventually you will hit my exoskeleton, and then you will be hurting yourself.
That's why I have a crowbar.
This unit is not designed for percussive maintenance. I do not recommend. Further damage could come at a cost to your overall pay, as maintenance done by the company on this unit would be costly.
Yeah, all right. I won't hit you that hard then. Gia is going to walk out back into the common area. Is Peril and Wu still hanging out?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, guys. Which one is what's her name? Dr. Kagome's hab unit.
She's down here. This one on the end here. Her door's locked though. You're not gonna be able to get in there. She's pretty particular about her privacy.
Not entirely surprised, but it's been a few days, right, since y'all last seen her.
Yeah.
And how long is our normal trips between here and research?
Once upon a time, she'd come back every night, but that's been a few weeks now since she's been back every night.
Has the trips extended longer? Is this the longest that she's been without having to come back?
The trip's generally only like 2-3 days.
So she's technically due back.
Should be.
All right. And I'll be polite, and I'll wait to see if the doctor comes back today.
All right. So y'all are just gonna sit tight.
Well,
Going through the
actually,
belongings.
What belongings?
Of Hall.
Not much of note. It's mostly his clothes, the stuff you already found. Little else. What did you want to do, Ollie?
I was just gonna ask, how far is the dig site from the base camp?
Oh, it's not far. I mean, it's technically within the fenced-in area. It's just, it's a little ways down, and you got to go all the way across the Habs.
Okay. Dig site require access, I assume.
Oh yeah, you have to be able to get into the xenoarchaeology lab.
Fun. Okay. Well, there's really nothing else for Gia to do. She'll just hop in a game of ping pong if they're willing to be open with that.
Oh sure. We're gonna hop over to Jane and Eve hanging out in the garage. You've been waiting for a while. It's still no sign of this guy.
So, his patrols usually take a long time, or?
I don't really know. He kind of, like I said, he kind of does stuff. Sometimes he's gone for a few hours. Sometimes it's a few minutes. I don't really know what he does outside. Outside of maintenance work, but I get the feeling. Well, look, Roy is the kind of guy who we get paid just for being out here.
Yeah.
We are technically on the clock 24/7. Unless it's something like disaster, like emergency level, he's in no rush.
I get you. He's I'm putting in the time just by being in here. Therefore, it doesn't matter how quickly I get that shit done.
Yeah. Especially when we don't really have any like overhead management, and they're not exactly eager to fire somebody and then send a boat out just to come pick him up. So, you know, secure a job and then just, you know, nobody's really lording over him, so he just kind of does whatever pleases him.
Okay. Well, I guess that makes some sort of sense. At one point, do we send a guy out to search for the guy, or do we? I guess it's been a while, and I don't want to miss him, but at the same time, we got to get this shit done.
You know, I would say if he, if he's not back in time for dinner tonight, then that would probably be time for concern.
Yeah. Okay. Guess that makes a certain sort of sense.
Yeah, which we've got like about an hour and a half until sunset here, so dinner will be ready a little bit after the sun goes down, more than likely.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess I'll sit here and wait. God.
Okay.
Feels weird to not be getting something done. I'm used to when you're on the ship and whatnot, what needs fixing or doing needs to be done pretty quick, whether you're being paid or not.
Yeah, Sybil wasn't exactly exaggerating. Things happen kind of slow out here.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have, corporate breathing down your neck. It's a lot easier to take the slow approach to things. I mean, I'll admit it's it gets a little cozy not having to constantly be in all this rush and anything.
Yeah, I guess that makes a certain sort of sense.
Does get boring
I know.
sometimes, though.
Oh, what was that?
Does get boring sometimes, though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
I don't know. I guess I kind of like the speed. It's always nice to just have something to occupy my time. Makes things go quicker, and I've always liked tinkering anyway. So
yeah. So all y'all are sitting tight, biding time. It's sun starts setting, starts getting darker and darker out. The lights inside the hab units get a little brighter to compensate. And for you hanging out with Evie, she's looking at the clock and she's like, it's getting about that time. Where the hell is he?
I guess it's probably time to pull the plug. Let's go figure out where he is and if we can get something done about him before dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. She'll go ahead and she checks like his little office there in the garage. And it's like, where the that son of a bitch. All right.
What up?
We're hoofing it.
Oh, he took all the vehicle?
Yeah, he must have took everything on a master key. Or his master keychain, I should say. Son of a bitch. All right. She will fish out a small flashlight from her pocket. Come on.
All right.
She opens the garage door and the two of you step out, and it's a little cooler, but it's still like 80 degrees outside. She clicks on the flashlight. That thing is surprisingly bright for how small it is.
Damn. Gotta give me one of those.
You buy it from the Coburn Dynamics Company store.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Yeah. And you guys start trekking outside, and around the outer edge of this. I don't want to call it a compound, but you know what I mean. Um, and you take a hot minute wandering around. And you eventually kind of come around like this. It's more of a series of like smaller like habitation units. You follow this road, but you see these larger like units clumped together, but then you see this collection of units that have like a bunch of like wiring. There's a bunch of noise coming from them. It's kind of muted, but you can hear like the dull hum and buzz of equipment and stuff running. And you do see a truck that is parked outside of these buildings, and it's like, okay, well, there's this truck. He's been out here the whole time. And you see like this structure is marked utilities. One's marked electricity, one's marked, water, so on and so forth.
All right. Doesn't seem to be much out here. I mean, there's the buildings and whatnot. He's usually
Yeah.
have to stick around here long. Sound like that's not typical.
I mean, he spends time out here, but I don't think he gets caught up in maintenance this long. She aims the flashlight kind of at the door to the electricity. All right, let's take a look here. And she leads you inside. And there's the buzz of hardware running and stuff. Generators and such running on some unknown fuel source. And you're looking around, and so you finally find who you believe to be Roy, laying on the ground, not moving. Evie rushes over and is like, Roy. She starts shaking him. He doesn't respond. She's like, holy shit, what the hell? And she flips him over, and there is a screwdriver sticking out of his forehead.
Holy shit.
She gets up and backs away and immediately starts looking around, hand going to her gun.
All right. What's the protocol here?
I mean, I want to say somebody killed him, but fucking who would have? Nobody's been out here. What the shit? She quickly starts grabbing his master keys off of his belt. And she's kind of looking around, trying to think. I think we need to get. I think we need to go get Sybil. Get her to come look at this. See what she has to say. Yeah. And maybe get your guys as well.
Yeah. If anyone's going to be able to handle this, it's going to be G.
And he goes and takes the truck this time and drives you back to the garage, and you make your way. She has, she shows you where your coworkers went, and she's running over to medical. Says to meet back up in the lobby.
Yeah.
As you're going through the cafeteria, you do see there are like a couple guys kind of filtering into the cafeteria. A tall black guy and a shorter Asian dude. You can smell there's like food cooking. But you were pointed towards the dormitory as where your companions went.
All right. Yeah, I head back that way. Hopefully I can find them quick enough.
Cool. Yeah, you go in there. Assuming they're still hanging out in there. They're both there.
Oh, Jane.
Hey, found a body. We gotta address some shit.
You
What do you
found
mean you
a
found
body.
a body?
I mean, I didn't find a person. Gee, I'm gonna need your help over here. We gotta go link up with
Got it.
Evie.
Got it.
Fucking dude, screwdriver to the head. Fucking, I don't feel right.
That's more than finding a body, I do believe.
Oscar, it's still finding a
Sorry, what was that?
body.
Yeah.
Was it self-inflicted?
I'm not a doc.
So you all group up in the lobby. Evie comes to Sybil. You all take this truck over to back to the utility buildings. And those of you that weren't there now can see that, this alleged Roy has a screwdriver shoved right through his forehead. There is a dried streak of blood that is like kind of trailed down his forehead, some that pooled on the ground where he was laying. There's some muttering between Sybil and Evie, and Sybil starts examining him, checking his hands, checking the wound, all of that. As well as like taking in parts of the scene. And she kind of takes her gloves off, balls them up, and I don't know why, but based off of the angle of the penetration and everything, I think it's highly possible he did this to himself.
I mean, what would possess a man to stab himself in the head with a screwdriver?
I don't know. This is I don't know.
Oh no.
Is there anything
Right.
on his personal effects?
You can check his pockets if you want. She hasn't checked his pockets.
Rub it in his pocket.
Okay. It's not really anything of note. Kind of a pen, pencil, some tape, a pocket knife. Nothing crazy.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll want to start taking a look around this generator room, was it?
Yeah, this is their electrical building, essentially.
Yeah.
The doctor has deemed it a suicide, then. Further investigation may not be required for the local area. What we should do is report this to the company.
Looking around, it doesn't immediately strike you as strange, but it does stand out to you how dry it's been. There is a small amount of moisture on the window near the body. Droplets
Huh.
of water near the bottom corner. No streaks, though.
This room's temperature controlled, right?
Enough for the equipment to, remain optimal. You can feel it is like probably like high 70s in here. You can hear that there is like air conditioning running and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, like it's mid to high 70s in here easily.
That doesn't look right. Hmm. Gotta check the outside of the generator building.
Okay. You go outside the generator building. You can see that's just the side of the building. There is just the rocks and the dirt. You can see, in fact, the moisture is on this side of the window. But you look around, there's no source where it could come from. There's no streak marks on the window. It's just a few dots of moisture. Nothing
We'll
that
head
could
back.
have been potentially dripping or anything.
That doesn't look right. Gio will head back inside. Hey, Doc,
Yes.
you got anything to collect samples?
Yes. We'll pull out a vial from her pocket and swab.
Cool. I'm gonna grab something that looks interesting to me.
Yeah, by all means, I'm going to swab his mouth while you do that. We'll pull out another vial and swab and starts doing so.
Gio's going to swab the moisture. That does not look like it belongs in this room. Or at least in this area.
Okay. So you swab that and stick it in the tube and seal it up.
Yep. I don't know if you can run any tests on this, Doc, but any kind of information about this might be helpful.
Yeah, I'll take a look. We will want to. She will reach into one of her like actual like bigger like coat pockets, and she will pull out a air sealed black square. When she opens it, and actually pulls it out, it very slowly starts to unfold from being compressed for so long. But it becomes apparent that it's a body bag. You'll want to, and bring him back to medical, if you would, so kindly.
Yeah, I got it.
Understood.
So you'll do that and begin to make your way back to medical to hopefully get some answers next time on Mothership.
Yay.
Huzzah!
Oh,
Yes.
So Zach, we need to have a talk.
Yeah?
Which horror franchise do you want us to be involved in next? Should I expect fighting dolls like Chucky here in the future?
You don't know what franchise you're in.
close
yeah,
out.
I
it's
have
definitely-
a very confident guess.
Close out.
You're free to guess all you like.
What's your guess?
Dead Space.
I'm guessing the next one will be The Thing. Let's just.
When you're playing with me,
Or-
it's always the thing.
Hey, that's true.
Wait, understand that Among Us sound effect will get a lot of use.
I mean, just because there might
That's it.
be
That's everybody.
some kind of artifact thing doesn't mean it's Dead Space.
It's the artifact plus body mutations plus people
There's
losing
no-
their fucking shit.
There's no necromorphs. Come on. Come on.
I didn't use the word necromorph, sir.
Someone's
Fine.
not fighting the accusations very well.
I'm paranoid.
Well-
So I'll accept being wrong at the end of this if I'm wrong.
I've found it better to not fight the accusations because what I've learned is if I just let y'all believe things and not correct you, you're more likely going to make assumptions and make decisions based off of those assumptions, which is far more entertaining.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening to this horror show. We're just now getting to the horror bits. Other than the listening to how some people are psychologically damaged. And we hope to have you on the next one.
Yeah.
But always remember, make us whole.
Right. Bye.
Bye bye.